Keep it up. Screw up and they're on us.
Here. Breathe here. Help!
Scanning ahead. Our spike carrier is dead.
Spike down A.
Enemy down.
Neutralized.
Last player standing.
Stay alive. I want their life, not yours.
Anyone have funds to spare? Anyone have funds to spare? Anyone have funds to spare?
Breakaway. Revealing area.
Enemy spotted C.
Shock dart. No more.
Last player standing. One enemy
Be
remaining.
faster. Time to stock back up. I must stop their rain. Reloading.
Scanning ahead. There they are.
Enemy spotted C. Enemy spotted. Ugh.
Thanks Bright Sellers for sponsoring this video. And these are the style of
Spike down.
today's show. There are two Australian Wagyu marbling score 9. As you can see, the intramuscular fat on these steaks are insane. That lets you already know that these steaks are gonna be incredible. And the first thing to do is to coat them in wine.
30
For that, I
seconds
set
left.
one in a cooling rack so that we don't make a mess. Now let's talk about wine. I chose a red wine. And if this experiment works, you can use any wine you like. As now the only thing you have to do is to give this steak a one shot.
I still can't get over that owl solo. It's too cute.
Once the steak was
Why
fully
is it
covered
so
with the
cute?
wine, you can see that it drastically changed color. Now to ensure that a little bit of wine penetrates deeply into the meat, I'm going to dry brine this. And to do that, it's very simple. I just throw salt on it so that it can cause osmosis. And if you are unfamiliar with that, let me give you a quick explanation. The salt will draw out some juices from the meat. Then everything will become a nice salty solution, of course mixed with the wine. Then the steak will reabsorb everything back into it, and hopefully with some wine flavor. And remember, since I have two steaks, the other one is just going to be the control. There's no wine on it, but I will also be dry brining it. Now that I got both steaks ready to go, the only thing left to do is to let them rest in my refrigerator for 24 hours. That is perfect because it allows me time to go ahead and make an awesome side dish to go along with it. And these look really fancy, but they are super inexpensive and most important, super delicious. The first thing to do is to make some ground beef. Here's my take on it. I throw in 1.5 pounds of ground beef into the pan, then immediately throw in some onions. Mix everything well and start to cook them. Once fully cooked, throw in salt, freshly ground black pepper, and garlic paste. Mix everything well and combine all of these ingredients together. As now we're going to be adding flavor on top of flavor. For the first one, I threw in a good amount of tomato paste. Combine everything together and keep your heat high, because one of the things that you're trying to do is to create a font on the bottom of the pan. It is extremely important not to let that burn. To deglaze it, I like to throw in some red wine. Mix everything together until the pan is completely clean on the bottom. Then throw in some Worcestershire sauce and incorporate everything together. The only thing left to do is to throw in some parsley, mix it one more time, and your extremely flavorful ground beef is done. Now this is not only very cheap, but extremely delicious. Just eating this with some rice is incredible. Talking about that, that is exactly what we're gonna do. But we're gonna take the whole thing to an extreme level. After fully cooking your rice on your rice cooker, let them cool down a little. To make things easier for me, I'm using this mold right here. But if you don't have one, you can just mold it with your hands. You want to pack the rice tightly together with the form, because in the end you should be left with something like this. Now repeat the process until you have a bunch. As now the next step is to go ahead and deep fry them in duck fat. I'm going all out on this, but if you don't have duck fat, you can use any other type of oil you like. You want to deep fry them until you get a lightly golden brown color. As you can see, once I was done, this is what they look like. A nice crispy crust, but the middle is still nice and soft. Now the next thing to do is to assemble it. Just go nice and slow until you get a layer right on top. As now we need to go ahead and make a sauce. And for that, it's super easy. Let me show you. Into a bowl, I threw in a little bit of onion, followed by sriracha, garlic paste, and a little bit of parsley. Mix it well because the next step is to put it into a squeeze tube. And the easiest way to do that is to use a plastic bag. Just throw everything on it, cut out the tip, and squeeze everything into the bottle. In the end, if you want a nice fancy presentation, you should be left with something like this. As you can see, it easily allows you to make miniature dots. Now this thing looks really fancy. And I'll tell you one thing, it costs almost nothing. You can make a huge batch of this with only $10. And I think it's gonna be the perfect side dish to go along with our steaks. Talking about that, after 24 hours, take a look at this. We got the wine steak on the left and our regular steak on the right. Notice that there's no sign of salt anymore, only a little bit on top of the fat. And that's because fat does not absorb the salt. There's only one thing missing on these steaks. Freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder. Because now the only thing left to do is to cook them. For that, I'll first be putting a nice sear in all of them. To create additional flavor, I'll be basting them with butter. Then I'll be cooking them in indirect heat with my wireless thermometers. So now I say it is enough talking and it is time to grill them. So let's do it.
Last player standing.
Because we are together. Don't forget that.
Before we go ahead and try this incredible steaks, I want to thank the amazing sponsor of today's video, Bright Sellers. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I include wine in a lot of my recipes and experiments. And with my Bright Sellers subscription, they just make my wine buying experience a personalized one where I discover new wines I love. It's easy. All you have to do is take the quiz and the algorithm matches you with the wines you are guaranteed to like based on your taste profile. They ship directly to your door, and the more you rate and give feedback on your wines, the better your match will get. And don't worry, if you don't love one of your wines, they will simply replace it in the next box. Look how cool this is. Each personalized wine comes with an educational part with clear suggestion and general wine information. Oh, and they now offer more sustainable wines than ever. With Bright Sellers membership, you get to enjoy virtual wine tasting, referral program discount, premium wine discount, and flexible membership where you can just skip a month if you want to. With this link, my viewers will get 50% off their first 6-bottle box. Plus, the bonus bottle where the premium customers will get a free corkscrew. Thank you, Bright Seller, for sponsoring this video, but now let's get right back to it. All right, everybody, here we have our beautiful steaks, Mama. We have...
Steaks are looking beautiful, but that's looking interesting.
You like my little cupcake, Mama?
What is that?
Little cupcake made out of meat, everybody. That's basically what it is. I gotta be honest with you.
It's a meat cake?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I made a little appetizer, you know, because obviously this is not gonna be enough. And as you can see, I made it quite a bit for the family to try. Everybody, we always share our food to everyone. So you want to try this first? And I want to know your opinion. Tell me how you like it.
Grab it with the hand?
Just grab it with your hand and then just bite on it and let me know. So basically, Mama, what this is crispy rice fried in duck fat. Yeah, fancy. Yeah, no, fancy all the way.
Sorry, here.
Yeah, exactly. Put your pinky up, you better. And then we got a little bit of ground beef with some spicy mayo. Enough talking.
Okay.
Ready for it?
Let's go.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Revealing area.
Enemy spotted C.
Wow.
So easy to make
Man,
and so good.
that's a whole mini meal on your hand.
Exactly. It's like a little hamburger or a meal, like you said. I mean, this is amazing.
I can see this being served on like a fancy party, for real.
Yeah, no, for real. It's a hefty appetizer, you know what I mean?
It's gonna fill you up before you can tell.
Exactly. And as you saw it, super cheap to make. You don't have to use the duck fat if you don't want to. Use any other regular fat. Obviously, the duck fat's gonna give you something extra, but highly recommend. So here's the deal, Mama. We got two beautiful steaks, as you can see. They are Wagyu, so I don't want you to like have a heart attack when you eat them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, because they're gonna be amazing. And we're just doing a simple experiment. I want to know if it's better or worse.
Okay, this one
Yeah,
first.
we'll start with this one here, and we'll move on to the second one right here. Ready for it?
Let's go.
Let's go. Very first one. Cheers, everybody. How can I describe this? It's like one of the most perfect steaks there is because it's a good ratio of fat together with meat. Exactly.
And the smokiness from the grill.
Yes, up here.
Oh, man.
That little charcoal definitely produces an amazing flavor into your steak, everybody. Charcoal will always make it better.
Amazing.
Amazing, right?
Amazing. Can't add much more to that. It's
There's
just incredible.
I agree 100%. There's not much to say, but now I want to try the experiment.